giving me the ick. Please, I want to hear this person singing. Oh, it's so annoying. It's so bright. Stressful. I give myself the ick. I couldn't fit half of even one bum cheek in that cap. Hi friends, how are you? I hope that you're very, very well. Today I'm coming at you with a video suggested by my girlfriend. So I'm going to talk about my theatre icks. So these are things that annoy me about the theatre. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion because I feel like some of these are like regular things, but these are my opinions as a very regular theatre goer. I would really like to hear your theatre icks, so if you want me to do another one of these videos, follow me on Instagram and I will ask in my stories for people's icks and I'll do a video on them. Okay, this has to be my number one theatre ick. Honestly, it annoys me to a level I feel is somewhat unhealthy, but it is Apple Watches and Fitbits, but more specifically Apple Watches, because every single time that somebody lifts their hands to clap, their Apple Watch turns on really bright. And like, I went to the theatre the other week and somebody had an Apple Watch on near me, and every single time I clapped I was like, oh! It's so bright. In a dark theatre, when the lights are down and it's like a very dramatic moment or something, and then somebody reaches up to scratch their face, which is like a reasonable thing to do. It's like, I'm gonna scratch my face and I'm gonna blind you next to me with the brightness of my Apple Watch. Like, I think there needs to be something to say to switch off Apple Watches, because I can't even talk about how much it angers me. Like, it genuinely fills me with actual genuine rage. Ban Apple Watches at the theatre. They're so, and also like just turn your brightness down. Surely there should be a theatre mode. The problem is as well that if you're the person who's wearing it, your watch is like facing out. So say you clap like this and you're wearing your watch here, it's only bright to like other people, not to you. Oh my god. Can you tell that one really annoys me? Okay, next one is manspreading. And this is a thing just like in life anyway. It's called manspreading, but just like anybody who just spreads their legs unnecessarily in the theatre. I understand if you've got long legs and there's not enough leg room. I understand all those things. I understand some people do it for medical reasons. I understand that. I'm not talking about those people, because I went to the theatre with my now ex-brother-in-law and he manspread next to me in the theatre. And personally, like, if I can feel somebody touching me, like, I kind of get sensory overload, and I could feel his leg on my leg, and I was like, God, I can really feel his leg touching my leg. And I know him and it annoyed me. And the thing is as well, I was like moving my legs, but he kept moving his again, and I was like, I have no more space. And your leg is touching my leg, and basically I just hate it when people's legs touch my legs. Is that a weird one? I don't know. Okay, next is when you buy a program at the theatre and you have nowhere to put it when you like go to the toilet or go and sit down. Like, okay, you've bought a program, you bought a drink, and you've got a coat and a handbag. How trying to sit down is so stressful, because you're like, right, I'll shove my program under my arm. By the time I've moved everything, my program's fallen on the floor, somebody else has stood on it, it's crumpled as anything, and I just spent £10 on that and now it's worth nothing. And that really annoys me. Or when you have to go to the toilet and there's just nowhere to put your program. Say you bought your program, you go to the toilet, there's not a hook on the door, or like, well, I mean, what's a hook gonna do for a program anyway? There's nowhere like to put it on the back of the cistern, there's no, oh, it's so annoying. Apparently, some Western theatres have introduced program holders in the back of the doors in toilets, but I've not seen any myself yet. But I think they should be rolled out everywhere because it annoys me. It gives me the ick. Okay. Oh my god, this annoys me so much. Okay. When you go to the theatre and somebody is singing a long note, like it's the end of the song, and somebody starts this big note and then people start clapping and cheering like 4 bars before the end of the note, and you're like, please, I want to hear this person singing. This is like the climax of the show. Please stop cheering and please stop clapping. They give you a moment to clap and cheer. Please, hold off just a moment longer. That annoys me. Oh my god, I didn't write this down, but also when somebody is singing on stage and there's like a moment in the song where it like goes silent, and then they start again to do then the end of the song, and people start clapping in the break. The thing is, It's nobody's fault. Sometimes you're really like, oh, do I clap? I have no idea. So sometimes it's really hard to tell. So I'm not blaming anybody. But that is embarrassing and icky. Gives me the ick. Next is about merchandise. I love merchandise. I love show merchandise. I love a tote bag. I love a stagey tote bag. I'm not really a t-shirt merch girly anymore. So a tote bag works for me, you know? Tote bags in America on Broadway, they're tote bags. Their tote bag game is excellent. Their tote bags are of a great quality. They are sturdy. They're like a proper solid sturdy tote bag. The majority of West End tote bags are horrendous. They feel like they've been made out of the cheapest fabric ever. They've just been screen printed, just a logo slapped on it, and they are so expensive. Right, we went to see Newsies and I was talking to my friend and there was a queue for the merchandise and Lucy was like, oh, I'll go and get you something. What do you want? And I said, oh, I'll get a tote bag. I didn't even look at it, but I knew I wanted a tote bag because, hello, I love a tote bag. And I enjoyed Newsies. And Lucy then came over and she said, you will never guess how much this was. It was £18. That was 1/8. 1/8 is, the quality is so bad. I would pay like £5 to £8. £18? Really? It had already been done and I have used it, but the quality is just not there. Like, the UK merch people need to switch up who provides their tote bags. Okay, my next ick is like bragging culture. I hate it. This whole like, how many times have you seen the show though? Have you seen every variation of the cast? Have you done this and have you done that? And I understand being excited and being really into a show. I've been a massive stan my whole life. I love musicals and I've been a massive fan. But there's like, oh, you've only seen the show 3 times. Well, I've seen it 300 times. And people don't understand their privilege of being able to see shows that many times, being in a location that enables them to, having the money to. I hate it. When I hear people like over bragging to people, either online or in person, like, oh, I hate it. I'm like, oh, you're giving me the ick. Stop it. Okay, next is when preview prices are the same price as for the show when it's fully opened after press night. Specifically if it is a somewhat new show and there are clearly changes in the show made daily, there's a lack of rehearsal and stuff, and it's like, pop a little discount on them. Because I would not mind seeing a slightly less polished show for a little bit less money when, you know, it's the end of the month and I'm waiting for payday and I have to see a show, you know? It's like, make theatre more accessible. Give cheaper tickets. Okay, next up, bench seating. So when you go to a theatre and it's like all rows, so they're not like individual seats, and it's a bench and then it's just got a number, the gap is like this big and you're like, I couldn't fit half of even one bum cheek in that gap. You're there, squeezed between strangers, and I'm like, my butt cheek is touching somebody else's butt cheek, and I said earlier about the touching, and I don't like it. And it stresses me out and I feel very uncomfortable. Like, for real, who invented benched seating? Or who said that's a good idea? Oh my god, and if you've got somebody who's like a leg wiggler, admitted, I'm a leg wiggler, but I would never do it when I'm on like a shared bench and you've got a leg wriggler, or you've got somebody like fidgeting loads. Again, I'm a fidgeter, but I'll do my best to not fidget, and your whole row is like wiggling around. The thing is, I just find it very easy to get distracted, so these things are just like, please. Okay, my next one is when it's the bows at the end of a show and like the underscore has a very strong beat to it, and so people start clapping along with the beat rather than clapping like, woo! And people are coming on and bowing and everyone's just going. I'm like, that's not applause. That's not applause, that's clapping along to music. So I'll be clapping along and then as soon as somebody does a bow, I'm like, and I find it really hard and it stresses me out and it gives me the ick. I give myself the ick of trying to clap as an applause and also clap in time. I hate it. Okay, my next thing is overtures. I've said before I'm not a huge fan of overtures, but an overture when everybody else in the theatre is still talking. Either have an overture and everyone be silent, or don't have an overture and talk for 2 more minutes. I'm like, the show has started. And even though I don't really think that this part of the show is a necessity, please still be quiet, everyone. Speaking of like applause and stuff, this is more specifically about ballet. I love the ballet. The ballet is great, but my goodness, don't they bow for a long time? I took my mum to the ballet a few years ago. The ballet is long as well, which is great. I love ballet. It's so nice. And then the bows happen. And I swear to God, the bows were going on for about 20 minutes. And I was like, I've already clapped this person about 7 times now. What is this about? And they like do it with the whole stage, and then they like close the curtains, and then they open them again, and then they close them and do like a little side curtain while they like pop out, and they're like, here I am for another bow. It's like, why is that going on for so long? I really don't get it. Like, genuinely, it's like a genuine question. Why do they bow for so long when it's the same people? Like, if it was just that it's everybody, totally, yeah, everyone should have a bow. But when I'm clapping for the same person who's been up there for 20 minutes, something's going on. I want to get the train home. I'm tired. I'm sure they're tired too. And my final one is programs and playbills. In the US, they have playbills, which are like paper copies. They're free. You can just pick them up, and they've got like some adverts in them, and they've got little like bio and like a running order and stuff like that. The basics that you need, and they're free and they're great. And then in the UK we have programs. So there are souvenir programs, which are like pictures and stuff, and then there are like standard programs, which are headshots and bios and stuff, but you pay for them. So a souvenir program you would probably pay about £15 for, and a standard program you'd probably pay about £10 for. But sometimes you're paying for this £10 program, which is essentially the same information that's given in a playbill, but it's on like nicer paper. And it's like 90% adverts, which again, I wouldn't mind if it was free, like a playbill is. It's got a lot of adverts in it, but I don't mind because it's free and it's giving me that information. But programs, I do think they're so overpriced in the UK. I think personally they should offer like playbills like they do, but I think they should do that in the UK, and I think they should be free, or like even £2 or £3 is totally reasonable. And then should also sell souvenir programs that are like £15 or like £12.50 or something, and it's got pictures and that kind of stuff in there. Like, I think people would be so much more inclined to pay that rather than, I don't know, like, I think we buy programs now because it's like, oh, you go to the theatre, go and buy a program. But half the time I don't even read them anymore because they're just filled with adverts, like 90% adverts sometimes. And you think, I could get this information off the website. Why am I buying this program? Anyway, that is my roundup of theatre icks. Please let me know what yours are in the comments below, or as I say, if you want me to do a video like this with your theatre icks, of me like reacting to them and reading them out, then follow me over on Instagram and I will be asking in my stories for some theatre icks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!